South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. All righty. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this almost Friday, Thursday. We come to you live and direct from this gaming capital, Las Vegas, Nevada, the gaming capital of the world, from the South Point studios at the South Point Hotel and Casino Complex here on the Las Vegas Boulevard Strip. We welcome you to the show, and, of course, all of you who are watching us at the South Point position on YouTube. If you would, don't forget to subscribe. And for those of you listening on the radio here, as we also have our anchor radio station here in Las Vegas, Sports Talk 1400 AM, 107.1 FM, try out the YouTube and take a look at us and join us on YouTube once in a while as well. And, of course, we want to welcome all of the listeners streaming on our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global. Or your iPhone, your Android with the KSHP app that you can put on your device so you can hear us now if you're listening on your device. And if you're one of the people here in America that wasn't affected by the, I guess there was a blackout or something going on with AT&T and some of the other carriers earlier today, but we will hope that you're not one of them. You can listen to us on your device. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting, we're there as well. So however, wherever, whenever you get us, welcome to the Race Day Show for this Thursday on a beautiful day here in Las Vegas. 44 degrees outside, but the sun is shining bright here in Las Vegas today. We're going to get up to 65. And believe it or not, by Sunday, they say the temperature will hit 72 degrees here in Las Vegas. So all that front that came through earlier is now moving on. It is right now causing rain and snow, possibly in areas, et cetera, through the Midwest, and it's going to make its way to the East Coast. But I think this front is moving fast enough to get through the East Coast so we can get out of there by the weekend. We'll wait and see. And, of course, we're taking a hard look at the weather as it is over Hot Springs, Arkansas, for the big racing day at Oaklawn Park. That includes the Rebel Stakes with Kentucky Derby points on it, and the Honeybee Stakes, which has Kentucky Oaks points attached to it as well. And of course, a half a world away in Saudi Arabia, we've got the Saudi Cup coming up on Saturday. Jonathan Hardoon will not only take a look at the Saudi Cup with us today, but also the Saudi Derby as well there. They're having big races. As a matter of fact, taking a look at the sheet here, on tomorrow they'll have the Saudi International Jockey Challenge. Now, we have some American jockeys in that as well, including Katie Davis, which will be the first woman jockey ever to compete there in that competition, in the jockey competition at Saudi, at the Riyadh Racecourse, Saudi Arabia, the King Abdullah Aziz Racecourse, I should say, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So tomorrow, they're going to have four divisions of that the Jockey Challenge, 4 Jockey Challenge races. And, of course, the jockeys that compile the best finishing points will be the winners. And, of course, then on Saturday in the Saudi Cup, a big day of racing there. Here's the purse values of these races. You ready? The Minister of Culture Jockey Club local handicap, $1.5 million. The Obeya Arabian Classic, $2 million. The Saudi International Handicap, half a $1 million. They just threw in that $500,000 to get a race in there, I guess. Then you got the Boutique Group Saudi Derby, the Saudi Derby, which we're going to go over with Jonathan Hardoon, $1.5 million. You've got the Riyadh Dirt Sprint, $1.5 million. You got the Turf Sprint, the Saudi Turf Sprint, at $2 million. And then the Red Sea Turf Handicap, $2.5 million. And the last race on the day, the Saudi Cup, worth $20 million. That happens on Saturday. And I said the Jockey Challenge will happen tomorrow in Saudi Arabia. And each of those races are worth $400,000 in purse money. So they're throwing around a lot of bucks there in Saudi Arabia for the next 2 days, Friday and Saturday. Now, as far as the Saudi Cup day of racing on Saturday, there will be commingled wagering going on in the United States. And our racebook here at the South Point Racebook, will have and offer betting on the Saudi Cup races. It's going to start early in the morning. The Saudi Cup the actual Saudi Cup, which is the last race on their card, will go here Pacific time locally at around 9:40 a.m., about 9:40 in the morning on Saturday morning. And don't forget that Fox Broadcasting is always also going to be televising some of these events and the Saudi Cup as well. So that'll be on Fox. Check your local listings there. But the race book will be open here early Saturday morning for wagering on the Saudi Cup and the Saudi Cup day of racing. Just want to make that mention of that, that's for sure. A couple of notes out of the Saudi Cup for the Saudi Cup top horses. White Abarrio, you remember he was the Breeders' Cup Classic winner, is going to have a workout, breeze, the morning of the race. He will have his final workout, his final breeze on the morning of the workout Saturday morning. Very unusual. It's old-time training. That's what the old-timers used to do. And I'm sure Jonathan Hardoon will, comment on that. And Derma Sotogati, the Japanese horse, in transit from Japan to Saudi Arabia, and they don't know whether it happened on the plane or anywhere before or after, but on his transit to Saudi Arabia, he got an eye injury. Now, they attended to the eye injury, and the connections say that he's doing fine now after that eye injury, and he will run in the Saudi Cup. So I wanted to mention that as well. We want to congratulate trainer Kenny McPeak. He got his 2,000th career win yesterday at Turfway Park. It came with a horse, I guess appropriately named Winnable. Winnable Wins pays $30.28 for the $2 win. He won the 5th race at Turfway Park yesterday and gave Kenny McPeak the plateau of 2,000 career wins. Congratulations to Kenny McPeak, the trainer there. Colorado is going to offer fixed odds on racing signals imported to that state. Now, remember, New Jersey has already started it in New Jersey, but this Colorado will be the second state that will offer fixed odds wagering on imported races that they simulcast to Colorado. Now, you know, we've been talking about how you bet on a horse at 9-2 going into the gate. He wins the race and pays $7, $6, $4. And there are a lot of players that are getting upset. And, of course, the fixed odds wagering in this case would be just like the fixed odds wagering that you had if you bet future books or any of the sports betting here in Las Vegas. When you walk up to place the bet on whatever you want to place the bet on here in sports and or in the Kentucky Derby future book bets that are booked here in Las Vegas, you will get the odds fixed in on the time of the wager. Not the case when it comes to pari-mutuel wagering, as you know. But they're going to try that fixed odds principle in Colorado with the simulcasting going on there. So that's good news as well. And just a quick thought about what's going on at Oaklawn Park coming up. Of course, we'll feature the races on Saturday, the big races on Saturday. But Oaklawn Park, you talk about how successful their meeting is going. Now, they race an off-track free, no matter what. If the track is available to race on or work on, they do it there. There is no turf racing, obviously, at Oaklawn. But in addition to that, even if there's no turf racing there, they had a meet high claims on Monday, President's Day. A meet high claims. There were 18 claims on President's Day that totaled $489,000 worth of claims. And through the first 27 days of the meet there have been 218 claims at Oaklawn Park for over $4,895,500. So there's a lot of action going on at Oaklawn Park, the old-fashioned way, on the main track, running both on a fast track and sloppy track there. So good for those guys there. All right, on today's show, we got Jonathan Ardoon, who gave us 2 winners out of 2 picks yesterday. They were both bet down. They both paid, I think, $4.60. Let's see. Jonathan's winner, thank you, Sean. Jonathan's winner in the 7th race, on the dot, was just that. He paid $4.60 to win, bet down from the morning line odds of 6-1. And that was at Gulfstream Park yesterday. Believe it or not, Jose Ortiz rode that horse, so he got bet down there because, probably Jose, mostly because of Jonathan. And at Tampa Bay, Jonathan came in the 8th race with Silver Style. That horse won and paid $4.60 as well. Bet down for the morning line odds of 3-1. That was Jose Batista's 2nd win of the day. And we got a nice communication from one of our listeners out there that said they have labeled Jonathan now in Hardoon We Trust. So there you are. We just call it the Hardoon factor here on the show. Congratulations to Jonathan. All right, he will be back with us. Rich Ing's going to help us continue with our getting up to date for the college hoops and, of course, March Madness coming up. And we will have John Lendo's selection. Now, John is flying here to Las Vegas for the weekend. He's in transit right now. He won't be with us on the show, but he left a pick for you, and he does have a Gulfstream Park Lindo report available today in the racebook here in the South Point. And, of course, Jerry Jackowitz will be back. Remember, he teased yesterday about a story he wanted to tell us when we were running out of time with his betting strategy. So he'll come back with that story, hopefully, today if he remembers. And, of course, we got your racing menu as well. So we got a lot to do on this show. So without any further ado, we'll go to our first break. When we come back, we'll give you your racing menu of racetracks available today. No cancellations today. Looks pretty good across the country. We'll wait and see. But we'll have your racing menu and then get started with our handicappers. So don't go away. We'll be right back on this almost Thursday, Race Day Las Vegas show. Don't go away.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's racebook has you covered.
Okay, back on the Race Day Las Vegas radio program. We were talking about the Kentucky Derby early nominations the other day. We are now talking about the Kentucky Oaks, early nominations. 104 nominees there, headed up by Just FYI. Of course, she was the Breeders' Cup winner there as a 2-year-old, Just FYI. 104 fillies, nearly the identical number from last year. In the 150th running of that $1 million race that happens on Friday, May 3rd. That's the day before the Kentucky Derby. 104 early nominees for the Kentucky Oaks, led by the Eclipse Award-winning champion, Just FYI. All right, time to get started with our racing menu of racetracks available today in the Racebook simulcast centers and racetracks around the country. Reminding you, as we always do, the first post times we broadcast on this show each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone. We are in the Pacific time zone. These will be the first post times that roll out in our racebooks today, especially right here at the South Point Racebook, right there. And, of course, if you're listening on any of the multitude of other platforms that we have, most of them that we mentioned at the top of the show that we welcome to our show every day, well, you're going to be in another time zone somewhere. So adjust to the Pacific time zone from whatever one you're in so you don't miss an opportunity of making some money out there. Okay? We don't want you to miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad. Okay, here we go. Here's the menu for today. We begin with Gulfstream Park. Gulfstream Park's first post time is set at 9:10. They have 9 races today at Gulfstream Park. And they have a big, nice, juicy Pick 6 Rainbow Jackpot carryover of $319,303. Gulfstream Park, first post time is at 9:10 with that big Rainbow Jackpot carryover. Then we go to Mahoning Valley Racecourse. They've got a Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $15,874. They've got 8 races. Their first post time is at 9:45. Then we go to Fairgrounds, New Orleans. Fairgrounds has a first post time of 10:45 for their 10-race card at the Fairgrounds. And they have a carryover in their Pick 6. It's a regular Pick 6, too. Not a jackpot, but a regular Pick 6, $2,438 in the carryover at the Fairgrounds. 10 races, first post time 10:45. Sunland Park, first post time for 9 races at Sunland is set at 11:25 there. And Sunland Park's, again, first post time is at 11:25 for 9 races. Turf Paradise in Phoenix, Arizona will kick in with 8 races. Their first 2 will be quarter horse races. And then the last 6 will be thoroughbreds. That's an 8-race card today at Turf Paradise. They have a regular Pick 5 carryover at Turf Paradise. This is not a jackpot, a regular Pick 5 carryover of $22,580 at Turf Paradise today. That's their Pick 5 carryover there. And a first post time of 11:55 Turf Paradise. Turfway Park. 9 races at Turfway Park. Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $55,789. That's their carryover in their jackpot, their Pick 6 jackpot. 9 races, first post time 2:55. Then we go to Penn National. They've got 7 races at Penn National today. A small Super High 5 jackpot carryover of just $291. First post time at Penn National is at 3 p.m. And we go back down to Bayou Country, where Delta Downs will kick in with 9 races. Their first post time is 3:15. Following that, Charlestown has 8 races. And Charlestown, I believe they hit that Pick 6 carryover jackpot, so it's gone. Charlestown, 8 races. First post time is at 4 p.m. today, and that's your menu of racetracks today across the country. All right, time to get started with Jonathan Hardoon. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. Mr. in Hardoon we trust. Nice couple of winners there, but they got bet down. It's the Hardoon factor, man. I'm telling you.
6-1 to 6-5. That's a little hard to take. 3-1 to 6-5. I get it. 6-1 to 6-5. I don't know. I guess it was a bad morning line.
I will say this, that they both won like 6-5 shots should. We didn't have to sweat out inquiries, photo finishes, nothing like that. It was just clean cut winners, way out and get your money.
Well, that's the way you want to do it, Ralph. Whether it's 5-1, 15-1, or 6-5, you'd like to win as easy as possible. As long as you get there first, you get paid. It doesn't matter how you get there.
All right. Well, we'll be talking about the big races, the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks point-getting races at Oak Lawn Park, of course, between tomorrow and Saturday when you make the picks. But we don't want to overshadow all that money that's being given away down in Saudi Arabia for the big Saudi Cup racing meet. They got 2 big days, tomorrow and, of course, Saturday. Saturday we'll be able to play the Saudi Cup here in Las Vegas. I would imagine it's through an American commingled parimutuel pool. But there's a lot of money being given away down there. As I said, I gave the latest on 2 of the horses running in the Saudi Cup, 2 horses that are going to be well backed. And the Japanese horse, Derma Sotogati, I should say, and White Aberio, of course, that we all know winning the Breeders' Cup Classic. But I've been seeing a lot of video and pictures and all that from the track down there in Saudi Arabia. It looks awful nice.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful place. I mean, they have nothing but money there, so they're giving away nothing but money. I mean, the purses are really huge, and if you have an opportunity to go there, I guess you should go there. I don't know. It's halfway around the world, and in this day and age, I don't know how much you want to travel, but if you get the opportunity, it's really once in a lifetime, so why not take advantage of it? And you're right, some strange things going on. Listen, Dutro, he's an old-school trainer. His father was a trainer for many years in Maryland. His brothers are trainers. And if he's going to blow that horse out, White Aberio, the morning of the race, I'm sure that's something that he's learned and he's done for a while. He's had major success, Ralph. He's got things that go on off the field that resulted in a 10-year suspension. But as far as a horseman's concerned, you're not going to find many that are better.
But he is like a flashback to the way the trainers used to train in the old school. I mean, they did. They used to. I remember horses blowing out with 3 furlong workouts, like 3 furlong works in the morning.
Woody Stevens used to do it all the time. Alan Jerkins did it all the time. Even this day and age, McGahee does it a lot of times. I don't know if it's a half a mile, but he goes 3 furlongs plenty of times the morning of the race where his horses run.
See,
he's using his. Go ahead.
Those trainers believe that it took the edge off of horses. In other words, sometimes you see horses they're so wound up from their training on for that target day when they go. By the time they get to the paddock, sometimes they expend useful energy in all the pent-up energy that they have waiting for the race on race day when they get to the receiving barn, when they get to the paddock, then they get out on the racetrack, they settle down a little there. So these trainers used to say that they take the edge off of the horse by doing that in the morning.
Whatever it is, if it works. Listen, I don't know if you follow harness racing, but there are days during like the Hambletonian, they'll have 3 or 4 races in a day, these horses. They qualify, then they come back, and then they come back. They'll run 2 or 3 times the same day. So it is something that's done. Obviously, it's not done often, but it is done. And again, in harness racing, they have 2 and 3 heats a day that qualify you for the final race of the day. So they're technically running 2 or 3 times, all in the same day. So obviously, if you run 3 races in a day, you could certainly blow a horse out the morning of the race.
Well, there's a little bit of difference between the standard breds and the thoroughbreds, obviously. But I will say that in harness racing, not only do they run, 3 heats sometimes for the biggest trot race of the harness racing industry, which is the Hambletonian. When I was, working back east, it was a long day at the Meadowlands for the Hambletonian Day. It was great racing there. And to be perfectly honest with you, in harness racing, every night, every day, for every race, these horses go out and they take 1 or 2 miles 2 or 3 times on the track in a warm-ups before they actually get to the race on that day. And it doesn't matter what quality horse, that's just the normal operating procedure for them. But like I said, for horse racing nowadays, these trainers are treating these horses with over-kit gloves, I think, sometimes.
And if they miss a week in harness racing, that's the worst thing you could do. They run every week, and if they miss a week, you don't want to play them unless they ran the week before
Sure.
because they need work, and obviously they get their best performances out of the horses when they run often. Listen, even Dutra ran a horse on Sunday. He's back entered to run tomorrow, so he does that. He brings horses back off of quick turnarounds. You remember Barry Abrams on the West Coast? He used to do it all the time. So there are trainers that do that, and a lot of trainers have a lot of success doing it.
If I am not mistaken, and you're really getting into my brain cells that burn off more often these days. If I'm not mistaken, did not Woody Stevens run Conquistador Cielo in the Met Mile and come back on that next Saturday and run him in the Belmont Stakes?
I think it was the Peter Pan. Maybe it was a Met Mile. It was a race where he ran real close and then brought him back. That's correct.
Yeah.
I remember.
I mean, these were not blowouts. These were graded races, and he won them both. All right, so we have enough to say about White Abarrio. He's okay, folks. He's going to have a nice little workout. He'll be fine. Let's do this. Two races that I wanted to emphasize before we get to the craziness on Saturday and kind of overlook them, and that is, of course, the Saudi Derby and the Saudi Cup. So I'm going to take a look at the Saudi Derby. Now, folks, if you go and research most of the websites, et cetera, for these Saudi races, they line up the horses kind of differently. They don't line them up by post position order. They line them up by saddle cloth number order. And the saddle cloth numbers are different than the post positions. For example, in the Saudi Derby, the horse that will break from post 1 will wear saddle cloth number 4. That's Oasis Boy, and it goes on from there. So it's kind of hard to look at these horses in post position order.
Well, can I ask you a question? Why do they do that? They only make it more confusing and make everybody crazy. Can't you just keep the same number? White Abarrio is number 14, but he's breaking from post 1.
Well, I'm going to give you my answer. This is my answer for most of the time when I do my emojis sending back some things I don't know. Don't know. Really that simple. All right, what do you got for this?
Ralph, you can't know it all.
No, that's right. I'm certainly not going to try to translate anything from Saudi to what makes sense in America. Anyhow, Saudi Derby, that'll be run, I would have to say, on the undercard maybe on Saturday at the racetrack, the King Abdul Aziz Racecourse there in Riyadh. And so I'm just going to ask you, how'd you look at the Saudi Derby?
Well, I have eyes on the ground there. I have a good friend that's actually there working the Saudi Cup, and he's been ranting and raving to me about how great Forever Young is training. I think he's the Japanese horse. So since I don't have much data on most of these horses, I respect his opinion, and I will go with Forever Young.
Well, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the jockey or the trainer, but Forever Young, Japanese horse, yes, is in there. He will break from post position 9, but he'll wear saddle cloth number 6. Now, I would imagine, and this is important for the people here that are going to be playing the races, when you go up to make the bets at the racetrack, you're going to use the number, the saddle cloth number. That will be the race number. Remember that. Forget about the post position number. The race number is what you go by. So if you want to bet Forever Young, you're going to ask for number 6. Okay, that's the saddle cloth number. All right, so Forever Young is in there. Let me see if, real quick, what we got?
You got Bookham Dano there. You have you have some other good horses, obviously shipping across the world to run there. But
okay, well, we got the American jockeys. Irad Ortiz Jr. is going to ride Bookham Dano, a horse coming in from the U.S. Ben Tornado is also in there. Luis Saez riding that horse from the USA. So we got, and those two.
Jose D'Angelo's horse. Isn't that Jose D'Angelo's horse, I think?
Bookham Dano. Yes, it is. It's Jose
Not
D'Angelo.
Bookham Dano.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. Ben Tornado is Jose D'Angelo's horse. Saez will ride there. And Bookham Dano, of course, trained by Derek Ryan. Irad riding that horse there. And then we have a horse called Hayet, which is was bred in the USA. And a few other. John Velasquez has a mount on Mashura, which is also a USA bred horse. And so I guess most of these horses from the U.S. Not all of them are competing here, but all were bred here, that's for sure. So you like the Japanese horse, Forever Young.
Correct.
All right, now let's get to a race that we're more familiar with the participants, and of course that is the Saudi Cup. And they really have quite a field in the Saudi Cup. You got, Crown Pride in there, Defunded, Derma Sotagade that we were talking about. Hoist the Gold is there. You got National Treasure, obviously. Probably will be the favorite, certainly in the American pools, I would think. And White Barrio, Saudi Crown. And
won't White Barrio be the favorite? He won the Breeders' Cup Classic. I would think he would be the favorite. Ralph.
Well, you got National Treasure that just won the Pegasus.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
they'll be the favorite exacta box. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And of course, Senor Buscador. So how do you see this race?
Well, this race is loaded with speed. It looks like there's a ton of speed horses. I was going to go with Derma Sotagake, but I just heard someone just mentioned that he had an eye injury. If they fixed it, so I don't know. Obviously, if they're running him, I would assume he's okay. And I thought the race set up well for him. White Barrio ran super in the Breeders' Cup Classic. National Treasure, I understand he won the race the other day, the Pegasus. With Senor Buscador. But Senor Buscador looks like it's just a lot of racing in a short period of time, where these other horses have all taken time off since, whether it be the Breeders' Cup or whatever, and they pointed for this race. So that's what turned me off about Senor Buscador. Again, I'm going to lean towards Derma Sotagake.
Now, first of all, I don't think they would, the connections, forget about what the officials may allow and what won't allow in Saudi, because I have no idea what their parameters are. But
there's no Heisa there, is there?
Well, no, I don't think Heisa reaches out to Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure, but I'll go on the limb and say that. But in any case, I don't think that the connections, the owners and the trainers, the people who are taking care of these horses, would allow the horse to run unless they thought the injury was not going to affect his running style or affect the horse's health in any way. They still don't know where it happened between the transit from Japan to Saudi Arabia, and they administered, what they needed to fix that.
They probably got a black eye or whatever. Yeah. They patch him up and they put him back in the ring. Let's go.
Right, and it'd be interesting to see if they put a full goggle type of cup on him, so that the dirt wouldn't hit him. But
no dirt or anything gets in there. You would think that, but let's see.
Yeah, we will wait and see about that. Let me see if I can get the any equipment on here. They do show some equipment. Okay, yeah. Trying to find him.
A goggle on or something, maybe.
No.
In basketball, when a player gets poked in the eye, he walks around with goggles for the next.
Nope, no, nothing on the sheet so far. And they go as far as noting blinkers, tongue strap, visors, etc. on other horses. I guess that that their normal equipment, and a hood on a horse called Scotland Yard, but nothing so far on Derma Sotagake, but I guess they could make a change there if necessary. All right, well, we took care of...
It's certainly a plus, Ralph, if they, obviously maybe it was just a superficial wound and he'll be fine.
All right, well, today we don't have Aqueduct don't kick in until tomorrow. Santa Anita don't kick in until tomorrow. And, of course, Tampa Bay is off usually on Thursdays after running on Wednesday. So we got the Hardoon factor down to one racetrack, and that's Gulfstream Park. How's it looking today at Gulfstream?
It looks okay, Ralph. We're actually going to give out a price play here in the fifth race, which is a mile on the turf. And this is turf-only selection. They are scheduled to go on the grass. And I like a big price horse here, Ralph. Number 10, Light Fury, a 7-year-old gelding from the Rowan Crichton Ball. Gonzalez support ride. This horse is listed at a ridiculous 15-1 on the morning line. He's going to get a great trip in here. There's a lot of early speed. Number 10, Light Fury, upsets and wins today's fifth race out at Gulfstream Park.
Well, this horse is 15-1 on the morning line. I want to see the parimutuel action on this horse today, because if we get 15-1 down to some ridiculous price like 2-1, 5-2, 6-5 or something, we will have to put 5 stars next to the Hardoon factor, that's for sure. But in this fifth race, which is, of course, winding up early pick 4s and pick 5s. In the 5th race today at Gulfstream, you like number 10, Light Fury, the 10 Light Fury at 15-1 with Gonzalez aboard there. Get this one home a winner, pal, and there'll be a ticker tape parade for you. Yeah, no question about that. Now, of course, you're taking it easy today because there's only one track that you're doing, but you'll be in full force over the weekend, won't you?
Yeah, we'll have all 4 tracks up: New York, Oakland, Florida, and California. Hopefully the weather stays okay in California. We get the weekend in. You never know.
I think the weather is going to be fine in Southern California because that front has already gone through. But the jet stream goes from the west to the east. So now that particular system is making its way through the Midwest and parts, and it's going to make its way into the Northeast. I just don't know how fast or when it will hit. That's for sure. But for today, all systems are go. That's for sure. 5th race, number 10, Light Fury. Oh boy. Hey, thanks a lot, Jonathan. And again, tell everybody we can get your stuff.
They can go to the website at jonhardon.com.
And you will be going over those races at Oaklawn between tomorrow and the picks, obviously, on Saturday as well for that, right?
We always do.
There you go, my man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
All right, you too, my man. And we will continue with the Race Day Show on this Almost Friday Thursday with Rich Eng standing by. We'll see what's up with Richie there. And don't go away. We still have Jerry Jackowitz's story that he teased from yesterday. Hopefully he'll be with us. And of course, John Lindo's pick for you as well on the Lindo Report. That's available today here at the South Point, right there for Gulfstream at the Book. We'll be right back.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Back on the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this Thursday, and now we go out to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. I heard you and Jonathan talking about Conquistador Cielo, and I was working in New York at that time, Ralph, and Conquistador Cielo won the Met Mile on Monday. Remember, the Met Mile was on Monday, Memorial Day, and then 5 days later, he wheeled him right back in the Belmont Stakes and won the Belmont Stakes by 14 lengths. So,
are you kidding me? That means I didn't burn that one brain cell that's left in my mind?
You had it, kiddo.
Oh, man. I thought it was something like that. Conquistador Cielo. He was a nice horse, too. And he went from a one-turn mile at Belmont. 5 days later, he went a mile and a half through the entire circumference of that mile and a half track and won both those races. That was amazing.
Yeah, Woody Stevens was a phenomenal trainer. He was old school. He would do what you guys were talking about, blowing the horses out or bringing them back. When horses are sharp, trainers should run them, right?
Yep. You eat up your feed and they're feeling fine and dandy, no problems. Run them back on the track. They are thoroughbreds, and this is what they love to do. PETA, are you listening? In any case, uh, talk about Woody Stevens just for a moment. He still holds the record, does he not, for winning 5 consecutive Belmont Stakes? And remember, the Belmont Stakes is only for 3-year-olds. So he had to win this race 5 years in a row with 5 different 3-year-olds. Now that is something, because that race is labeled the Test of the Champion. Remember that?
Yeah, that's probably a record that will never be broken because it's hard enough to get 5 starters 5 years to get the starter 5 years in a row, much less win.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I got to tell you, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about if I could find it. But Vicky Oliver's husband passed away, and I know that we worked with Vicky and her husband. He passed away at 53 years old, so our condolences go out to him. Her stable and those folks are just they are really fine trainers, etc. in the Midwest area. We used to work with them through Turfway and stuff, Kentucky.
Yeah, I knew Phil Oliver and Vicky from my previous life at the Monmouth Park and also at the Turfway Park. Good people. Very sad news. Too young. Too young.
Yeah, and another gentleman that we worked with for a long time in Kentucky, Kenny McPeak, got to 2,000 career wins. Believe that, huh? What a great career.
Well, hey, Ralph, I got a story for you on that. Kenny McPeak, he started his career when I was at Turfway.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the first win of Kenny McPeak's career, Bruce Casella and myself were at River Downs. Kenny called Bruce, said, "I'm going to win this race." It was his first career win, and we got in the winner's circle at River Downs with him.
Oh, my goodness. And I'll bet you that's hanging on a wall somewhere in your office. That's for sure. Yeah, Kenny McPeak, he was a character in those days, too, but he's a darn good trainer, and he's got some horses that may very well show up in the big race on the first Saturday in May, too, right, Rich?
Yeah, he's got some nice 3-year-olds. I don't have a list in front of me, but he's one of those guys. He doesn't need $1 million horses. He finds horses in more reasonable price ranges, and he really develops them. So, outstanding trainer, and hopefully one of these Kentucky Derbies has his name on it.
Yeah, no question about that. He is a bargain hunter for stuff like that, and he does very well, I might add, at that. That's for sure. All right, Rich, before we get started, well, I guess let's get started with March Madness. We need to get up to snuff. Big win last night for one of the top-rated teams that went down, huh?
Well, I was going to focus on the Mountain West Conference. Which game in particular were you?
No, that's okay.
about?
Go ahead. Concentrate on what you wanted to do, and we will talk about anything.
Yeah, because last week you had asked about UNLV chances for making the tournament.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, they're on the bubble. Joe Lenardi, who does the bracketology that I follow very closely on ESPN, he has 6 Mountain West Conference teams making the tournament,
Wow.
which is the highest number in quite a while. But there's the grid of the 6 teams, and also Ann did a great job with squeezing everything in. Those are the odds that are available at the South Point on these teams right now for the tournament. So, I've been a big fan of San Diego State. I had them last year when they made the championship game. I had them at about 60 or 70 to 1. But and I bought them back at 150 to 1 when they were still sneaky high. But there's unbelievable value in the Mountain West Conference. I'll say this because I get to watch a lot of Mountain West Conference basketball here in this time zone. It's a very, very good conference. I think they're better than the Pac-12, and people around the country don't get to see Mountain West Conference teams. Those are sneaky good prices. They're going to be tough outs in the tournament. And I'll talk about one prop real quick without taking up too much time. Is the fact that I know Chris Andrews when the seeds are set, usually has a nice prop with each of the conferences and the over/under how many games they're going to win in the tournament. I tell you what, if you see the Mountain West Conference and Chris puts them like at 3.5 or 4.5, you bet the over because they're going to be tough outs in the tournament.
Yes, and again, for the racing listeners that may not really understand that, what they do at the beginning of the March Madness before the first round starts, they'll count up the teams in each of the conferences represented in the brackets, and then they put odds on the conference that will have the most wins at the end of the tournament. And like you say, that's always a popular bet really around town. I know that.
Yeah, and not only who has the most wins, but the wins within the conference. Like the Big East might be 7.5, the Big Ten might be 7.5, but the Mountain West, if people don't give them respect, and I see a number like 3.5 or 4.5, I'm going over because think about last year when San Diego State made the championship game. They have to win 4 games to get to that far. They actually won 5 games, so they could do it by themselves if they repeat the performance from last year.
Now, Rich, we're going to put up that graphic one more time. I want to put up that graphic one more time because I want to take a look at that. And if we can get that graphic up one more time. And I do want to take a look at that because if you take a look at the 6 teams that you put up there.
And those are from Joe Lunardi, not from me. They're from Joe Lunardi's bracketology.
Okay, let's say they come close to that. Putting
Yes.
$2 on every one of them, you're going to make money. $20, whatever increments you like. But if they hold anywhere near those prices, you're going to make money no matter what happens. If you say what you say is true, with the conference being a lot stronger than people think they are, that's for sure. All right, Rich, I know that you're doing a lot of work for us on sports, obviously, through the NFL season. Now we got to get up to snuff for the college basketball season as well. But there's race players out there, and you do have a sheet that covers Santa Anita, Southern California racing, I should say. You handicap Southern California racing every Southern California racing day, but there's a lot of times, it is right now, where they're only running 3 days a week. But you managed to root out a horse for the race players today.
Yeah, I felt guilty. I didn't have a horse yesterday, and Jonathan was fantastic.
Yeah.
2 for 2 winners. We love that.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find a horse with some Southern California background.
Uh-huh.
Let's go to Sunland Park, race number 4. But there's an old Bob Baffert horse running at Sunland today, Ralph, in the 4th race. It's the number 2 Mastering. And believe it or not, the morning line is 5-1. This horse is like the 3rd choice in the wagering. Mm-hmm. If I can get 5-1 or 9-2, I'm all in. Mastering, running for an optional claim of $15,000 at Sunland Park. So let's go with the 2 Mastering in race 4 at Sunland.
All right, Mastering. Hope he masters the field there and gets the win for us. Number 2 in the 4th race at Sunland is Rich Yang's selection for the Race Day listeners today. Rich, you'll be back to work with the Santa Anita sheet tomorrow, and of course back to work for us as well. Hey, thanks a lot, Richie, for giving us insight on trying to get educated so we have some type of, idea of what we might want to do in the March Madness, which is coming up, the selection coming up about a couple of weeks after the conference tournaments are out of the way.
Yeah, we've only got about 2 weeks left in the regular season, and then there's going to be another week and a half of the conference tournaments. March 17th, again, circle March 17th. That is the show for the seeding and the bracketology for the NCAA.
Right, the Selection Sunday. Hey, thanks a lot, Richie. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Good luck, everybody.
All right, coming up, Jerry Jackowitz. You heard him tease it yesterday. He has a story for us as far as, a betting strategy. So he will be with us next to wrap up the Race Day show on this almost Friday, Thursday. Ought to be a goodie. We'll wait and see. Don't go away.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
All righty. Well, if you want to continue to get up to snuff and get ready for March Madness, these are the shows to do it right here on the South Point Studios Network on the YouTube position there. Of course, we're on Wednesdays through Sundays. Punchlines with Frank Nicotero. He's always got great guests and have great stories as well. His Punchline Stories is on Monday through Friday from noon to 1 o'clock. These are Pacific times. And Sports by the Book, oh boy, 7 days a week. Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. Saturday and Sunday on the weekends following us at 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. These are great shows to watch and get up and ready for sports wagering and sports here on the show. They got great stories as well right here on the South Point Network. All right, let's go to Jerry Jackowitz standing by. Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph.
All right, now people, they've been waiting right at the edge of their seats now. You teased a great story you were going to tell us at the end of the show last time, so it's all yours.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to forget Buddy Hackett after you hear this story, but or whoever your favorite comic is, Howie Mandel. But,
go ahead.
But so we're always talking about really what makes a good player, as opposed to just who's a good handicapper and who's a good bettor. And when I first started out, I was very lucky. One of my closest friends was just a fantastic handicapper. In fact, I'd say he's the best handicapper I've ever met. And he never rose to the level of Richie Schwartz or any of the Kerry Photius or any of the really good handicappers that I ended up really kind of finishing my education with. But he was certainly the equal or superior to any of them, myself included. He was a fantastic handicapper. Anyway, we were at Aqueduct one Saturday afternoon. Could have been any Saturday afternoon. We were surely at Aqueduct. This had been around 1980 or 1981. And we had gone through the race and we had handicapped. And Robert kind of came up with this 3-horse. And I remember, he was right, I thought. And it was a good piece of handicapping. And we talked about 3 or 4 other horses in the play. And I don't remember what the numbers were, but whatever they were. And then I went to go, I sort of had the play and I said, okay, I'm going to go bet. I always would go bet before him. And I went up to the window and on the way to the, while I'm standing on line, remember at the time you'd stand on line and you'd have to wait a little while. And something struck me that this 4-horse at 20-1 should be used in the play. And it's a horse that Robert and I hadn't talked about. And this wasn't that unusual for me to add a horse in or something. But I guess we didn't win that often. But anyway, so I bet the 3 over, we'll just say the 1, 2, 3, and the 4-horse. The 3 over the 1, 2, 4, and 5-horse. So I added in the 4-horse. It was an inside track at Aqueduct, I remember. And I think the reason I added the 4-horse in is I thought it would be like a very slow horse on the rail, but maybe he could kind of suck up for second at 20-1. And sure enough, that's what happened. And at the very last stages of the race, I start rooting for the 4-horse. And I get this like really bad look from Robert, like I had, stolen his child or something. And sure enough, the 4-horse gets up, and I'm got a really nice exacta because the 3 went off by, 5 or 10 lengths anyway. And he goes, "You didn't discuss the 4-horse with me. How come you bet the 4-horse?" I said, "I don't know. He was 20-1, Robert, and he was going to maybe sit on the rail. I thought he had a chance." And he was like so mad at me. And, at the time I was really like twisted. I didn't know what to do because, here was my buddy and, we played together and here I was cashing and he wasn't. And, well, we figured out what to do and certainly didn't hurt the friendship. But there it was. My friend Robert never, although he bet horses until about 2005, never really got there as far as I'm concerned as a player bettor. I did largely because I knew and I learned, or maybe it was instinctive, I don't know, that there's value. Find these value horses, find a way to use them so they can do you some good.
Yeah,
that's really the story.
I will tell you this. It might not be such a funny story, certainly from his angle, but it is a story that people that you emphasized with on looking for value and how to play that value with handicap. Handicapping is only half the equation, I think, that's for sure. All right, Jerry, we will get back to you and your power pages and your selections when we get together tomorrow on the show. And, of course, tomorrow we'll look ahead. Maybe you could take a look at the Saudi Cup for us real quick. But in the meantime, we have one more thing to say, and you're going to say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.